This is an amazing set of teams here. This is going to be an amazing series, most likely. This is the opening group stage, or opening matches in the group stage in the main event of SAX Nations Cup. We got China and Canada, two of the favorites to win the whole thing here. This should be amazing. Now, China is going to make this complicated for me because I don't actually know who is who here. So maybe someone could pull up the dashboard and tell me, and I can change it in Capture Age. But I could tell you the situation with Canada, at least. And we got some very exciting things to talk about with Canada because, like, Hera is not playing for Team Canada. So no Hera means they got to find, like, a solid fourth to come in. And this would be the first time I've seen Survivalist play for Canada. A Survivalist, great player here. So Survivalist is going to play as the Burmese for Canada. He is kind of surrounded by China here. That'll be something to talk about. Hopefully he can do some damage for them. Way over in the right corner, Mentalist. This is one of the most underrated players in the game. This dude's so good. I remember back in 2015, he was like second place in a 1v1 event. And anyways, he, he never really committed a lot to the game. He's still around. He still plays from time to time, but this dude's really good. And he's been active this year. He's like 2K3, 2K4. I think he's amazing. He's playing as the Chinese. In the purple, we have Slam. Slam's one of my favorite players ever, dude. He's such a good guy, and he's super good if you give him any solid role. I think adaptation can be a little tricky for him. Maybe in 1v1s, he's a player who could have accomplished a little bit more over the years. In team games, he's one of the best. He's playing as the Berbers. To the north, we have Chris. This is one of the greatest players of all time. Again, similar situation. Doesn't commit as much to the game. Working a full-time job. Very chill, very nice dude. Was top of the world. Like, he and Doubt were big rivals back in the mid-2000s. That's a real stat. Mid-2000s. And here he is playing as the Bengalis. So that's Canada. Apparently, player 5 is Bad Koala. And apparently, player 1 is Vivi. So what I'm going to do is just go Koala and Vivi. And I think we can leave it as that. I can even leave Yo's name because at least everyone knows it's Yo. So, for China, you got Yo. You got, like, the king of China here over in the left corner. Really nice position. I also really like the fact they picked Vietnamese. So they'll be able to make some really solid decisions on what to do based on the enemy locations, right? And China, I think, is one of the best Nomad, if not the best Nomad team in the game. They will be aware that Survivalist is here, for example. And there's already signals around Survivalist location. We got Lix playing as the Huns here in the green. Look out for him. We'll see if Lix chooses to be chaotic today. He always can be. I don't think he needs to be. I think he can play standard pretty well as well. Right next to him is Bad Koala, playing as the Hindustanis. And then, of course, we've got Vivi. Vivi is right next to Slam, and Vivi is right next to Chris, and Vivi is also the Magyars. I actually think this is perfect for China. The only thing that could be tricky for them is the location of Mentalist, because the Chinese are good, and it's like, what do you really do against the guy that's out here all on his own? We saw yesterday, and if a player is safe on this map and away from the others, they can really dictate the control of the game. But, like, here's what I'm thinking. Survivalist is surrounded by Yo and by Lix. Survivalist is Burmese, so he's probably going to try and do something YOLO, like maybe some Arambai or something. Could be wrong, but that just seems like a solid guess. I think they could double and really be aggressive against Survivalist. Maybe you have Lix just go fast castle Cav Archers after Yo goes for a scout rush on Survivalist. A nice job here from Lix to use the horse to block and bring in another elephant. I think it will be fast castle from Lix, just with how much food he's hoarding. I guess he gets this food because of the horse with the Huns. But yeah, they could take care of Survivalist quickly. And then you have Vivi, and Vivi could just go crazy with scouts and almost get guaranteed damage if you have Chris and you have Slam around. And, you know, the unfortunate or fortunate thing about Nomad, guys, is that's kind of what it comes down to a lot of the times, is positioning. But the absolute key here, and don't you forget this, the absolute key is that they picked Vietnamese so they know where people are located and they can actually make these decisions in the game. Because a lot of times teams won't prioritize a civ like Vietnamese on their draft. China did, and they picked Vietnamese super early. So I think this is going to be... We'll see if there's any way to have any recognition of this from Canada's perspective, because I think they have an idea that someone's here. There's actually a villager from Survivalist walking around, weirdly enough. But I don't think they have any clue that Yo is here. And Yo is going to go fast castle rats and archers, it seems. So we'll see how it goes. Should I change Chris's name to just Chris? So people aren't confused on if it's the Chris? He did choose to name himself this. So I don't want to go against that. But it might make people think there's a new Chris. This is the old Chris. This is the Chris. There's the stable from Vivi. Seems like Slam is going to try some type of fast castle here. Well, no, I think he might actually go archers. I think he just feels like a natural spot to go archers. And Chris is looking to get the walls down now. And Chris should be fully walled. Chris will have stone. Chris will have gold inside of these walls. He's also got some shorefish to take. So at least there's that. But I still think it could be really easy for Vivi to get some damage in here to start off the day for Team China. Survivalist walled in his villagers there on the shorefish. Still wondering what his plan is going to be. And it does not seem like he is going for any feudal age aggression. No feudal age aggression for Lix either. This will be fast castle cav archers. And it'll be fast castle rats and archers for Yo. And then you have some scouts here from Bad Koala. Looks like we also have mentalists going for scouts for Canada on the other side. And pressure's coming in towards Slam. And, you know, I already feel like I think I just have so much faith in China in general. But then based on the positions, they seem to be in a really good spot to get some damage in. We'll see how this goes. There's no defense here for Survivalist. He's kind of exposed if their scouts start coming in. We've got a tower now from Vivi. That's an interesting tower, just to apply some pressure to Chris. It doesn't actually accomplish much. But Slam could be in a really tough spot here, and Slam's going to lose one Vil. Slam's going to lose another Vil if he's not careful here. And Slam's he's in a tough position right now. Opening archers with the Berbers doesn't feel exactly ideal. And now the new woodline gets spotted, and Slam loses another Vil. And, like, Vivi's just being extremely patient. He'll look at this and tell his team, like, Canada's falling apart. Oh, man, Slam's losing his archer, too. Slam's not going to lose his spearman, and he's going to lose more Vils. And what is happening? I knew it would be rough. I didn't expect it to be this bad. Here's Survivalist is having some problems, too, but he hasn't lost Vils yet. But Slam, I mean, he's next to Magyars. I thought he expected something from Magyars, but he never really had enough protection from this. But to make matters worse, he's lost his archers too, so he has no, like, real potential for counter damage. Now, there is Mentalist. Mentalist is going to kill this Vil. So he gets some damage in here. I think that Koala wasn't necessarily expecting any pressure because it took some time. And then Survivalist is on the way up. But, like, what is Survivalist's plan here? I feel like he's going to try and just get some Spearmen out and adapt. But I do not really see a really solid plan. If he was on stone to go for air and buy, I would get it. Just lots of question marks over Survivalist and Slam so far for me. And Chris is, maybe it wasn't a fast castle. We could call it, like, whatever's in the middle of that, a slow castle. But he's going to be up and have healthy eco and probably drop a castle. And now the scouts from Vivi just come over here. Vivi has been feasting on Canada here. And it has not been, there have not been positives for Canada, really, except for that one villager kill over here. The scouts are going to attack the gate. I think Mentalist will be fine to defend from that. But Vivi has done damage to 3 players. And here we have some nice walls, good communication. Koala was just protecting to make sure that this TC could go up for Lix. And Lix is going Cav Archers. So, like, Lix is going Cav Archer. Survivalist, I think, is just going to drop a TC on this stone and gold. But he's got no army. He's lost a villager. He's going to lose another villager. This is... Oh, God. This is a little yikes, man. This has not been the game for Canada. Has not been the start for really any player. I mean... I guess Mentalist is the one that is looking pretty good. But look at this. We didn't have a castle from Yo. And Survivalist never had any solid army in this game. It never built up towards an army, which I think you really have to do. And Yo is just going to drop a castle that's going to range both these TCs. So both these TCs for Survivalist will eventually go down. We actually have a villager brought forward here from Vivi. And oh my God, now he's in. Oh my God, what is happening? This has been the worst possible start for Canada. Canada fans are probably very disappointed in what they're seeing right now. This is over. Like, this is so unbelievably over. These vills are dead. Survivalist will lose his TCs. Like, Chris is the only one that's going to have, like, remotely safe eco. I don't know if the units he's making are good enough. Vivi's eco KD has got to be something insane. Like, he's probably killed over 15 vills. And Vivi does lose one here to a counterattack from Slam. He does lose another one. But able to get the tower up. And Vivi just needs to... He needed to just do damage. And let the other players carry. And that's precisely the situation here. Slam's eco is a bit of a mess. Survivalist eco is an absolute mess. He doesn't have an answer to Rats and Archers. Like, Survivalist, to me, played this like a 1v1. Trying to go Monk Siege off a fast castle? Maybe that makes sense. But I would have liked to have seen a scout opening. Or I would have liked to have seen fast castle Arambai. Or something other than what we're seeing here. Opening archers for Berbers as well doesn't necessarily suit their skill set. So that was a weird thing from Slam, but I think it was more so the situation. Because he TC'd right next to the gold. But I just don't really know what to say beyond this. I guess Chris is the positive here. Sorry, still getting warmed up today. But I think you're just going to have Lix boom, Yo boom, and now you're going to have Koala boom. So they're 3 TCs, pretty much not taking any damage. While other players are deep in feudal age, and they can't boom at all. So the economy difference should just grow and grow for China here. Nice shot from Lix to be here to support Vivi as well. Because, like, Vivi, this did come at a cost, all this scout rush. Looks like he got in again. Let's not forget, yesterday, Brazil looked pretty bad in their opening game. The Nomad didn't work out for them, and they turned it around too. I would expect the same from Canada. But I honestly feel a little bad watching this right now. Like, I feel like I'm watching a team be bullied. That's what China's doing at the moment. And the Canadians just don't want to resign, which is great. You know, I respect it, but at a certain point here, they're going to have to realize that this is not looking good, and maybe you just got to move into the second game. There is not a single player in a positive position, really. Except for maybe Chris with those Rathas, so. Again, Survivalist is in a position where he needs to survive, maybe. So, as advertised. But, like, what's happening? He doesn't have enough wood to drop a lumber camp. Does he have a market? He has a market. Okay, so he just bought wood. So he can build a TC over here. What am I looking at right now? Well, he's playing Nomad, right? He's just starting over again. Archers from Slam working with the Ratha here from Chris. But look at the Vill counts right now, guys. We got 60 Vills for Lix. Amazing opening from him. We've got 60 Vills from Yo. Same deal. Super smooth eco. Great upgrades. This has been no problem for him. Survivalist relocating is fine. They don't necessarily need to chase him down. Yo's going to see this. He won't believe it. He's like, oh, okay. So that's where he's gone. Slam is still in feudal, right? Like, Slam isn't in Castle Age yet. So it's not like Slam's going to get crossbow or anything anytime soon. And this game seems pretty over from here. So I'm going to drink my coffee and try and, you know, warm up a little bit here. The next games are going to be closer. This is a dud of a game. This is going to be a game that hopefully doesn't set the tone for the whole series for Canada. But I think, like, China made the right decisions and Canada made the wrong decisions, combined with China maybe being in the better positions for what they wanted to do. I think, like, having the Magyar player close to so many people was really good. You don't have a guarantee of that in Nomad. I think having, like, Licks, Yo, and Bad Koala in relatively safe positions looked really good. But again, they decided what to do based on what they knew. And they drafted Vietnamese top 5. So they picked this civilization early on. And the Chinese were drafted early on for the Canadians. And it looks like they're going to lose with the Chinese. So we were a little surprised we didn't see that China picked Chinese, right? I think they didn't pick them at all. But it kind of makes sense now. The Rats and Archers have looked good for the Vietnamese. The team bonuses have looked good. I mean, we're even going to have Vivi in Castle Age. So Vivi's in Castle Age faster than Slam. And Slam has had some help. So 60 villager lead now for Team China. The Survivalist is just kind of doing his own thing over here. Slam is going to need more help, or this is just going to get worse for him. But there's a lot of Ratha out from Chris, so Chris should be able to hold. I think, like, I'm trying to find out exactly where Yo is going to focus with his Rats and Archers right now. Looks like he's trying to focus on Chris. I don't know, maybe Mentalist, maybe I picked the wrong time to say it, but I was just about to say, maybe Mentalist can do something. We haven't talked about him in a while. But the Cav Archers are over at his base now. And so now he's got pretty much no army, and he's going to go for Scorpions. It's kind of funny, we have Survivalist taking the new patch notes seriously, going for Scorpions with Ballistics, and guess what? He's going to lose everything. He gets Ballistics, but still has no real army to support it. And China just pounce. You also have Ram push here from Survivalist. He's trying to take out the TC from Licks, but he has no army, guys. And so he's going to lose his Rams. He's going to lose his Vills. Survivalist tried his best, though. Like, it was obviously looking really bad. He had to do something. And that something just angered Licks. Licks was going to take it easy on him. But then Survivalist chose to do that. And now Licks is going to drop a castle on his face and make him think about what he's done. We got a castle here from Slam. This castle could be denied. I mean, this continually looks worse and worse somehow for Canada. But he is going to get the castle up. And then if he can make Camel Archers, that could be really good. The rest of Canada have to do something before Survivalist is defeated. Oh, there's no cursor on screen? Okay, I'll fix that. I'll fix that in between games. My bad. I'm just not going to fix that right now. I mean, I'm really surprised. I mean, it's the first game of the series. I'm really surprised that we haven't seen enough from China here to make Canada tap out. I was even thinking that Canada would have tapped out earlier. But Chris is not going to like that. Chris has had a great game. He's at 100 pop. He's got tons of Ratha right now, which have proved to be pretty tough to kill. I think Yo hitting the Imperial Age is going to be the biggest problem. And then you're going to have Licks up to the Imperial Age as well, so... Survivalist is about to be without a TC again, so he has to get the resources for another one somehow. Vivi has done everything he's needed to do. Like, Vivi's score doesn't need to be high from here. He just needs to maybe run away with Vills and boom elsewhere. But he's disrupted multiple players and just set up his teammates perfectly. And the CA, we're about to find even more damage, and the GG's called. Let's look at the Eco KDs real quick. Not a good first game for Canada, but let's just look at the Eco KDs. Like, this is pretty rare that you would see this at this level. Where is this? Bottom right. Okay. Yo is 5-0. Lakes was 14-0. Koala was 12-5, and I guess Vivi was 18-21. He did lose a lot, but those eco KDs were crazy. And then just the amount of resources collected was just amazing as well. It felt like Canada didn't really have as much of a clue on where to go or what to make here. And it was, as you can see here, pretty brutal for everyone but Chris. Well played from China, and like, that's what's expected from China on Nomad. They're really good on Nomad maps. They prioritized Vietnamese so they'd know where the enemy was. And the rest is pretty much history there. People think about Licks being the chaotic evil. Like, he has to be chaotic. He doesn't have to play chaos at all. He can play standard, as you saw there. And he and Yo just carried the team big time. No real problems for them at all. Game number 2 now. Reminder that the way this format works is it's a mix of team games and 1v1s. This is the only 1v1 remaining. After that, we'll have 2v2s and 3v3s. But we got Yo in the blue for China. He's their best player. Now, whoever plays in this 1v1 cannot play later on in a 2v2. So you would miss out on Yo later on. And that could be a big issue if you lose this game. Might not be as big a deal to miss out on Mentalist if you're Team Canada. They did also have Chris. They did also have Slam. Could have maybe even considered Mentalist here for the 1v1. Or, sorry, Survivalist for the 1v1. But I think the Mentalist is probably their best player for this map, because this is a really messy, scrappy map. I think if it was a different type of map, maybe you would have gone for Slam if you're Canada. Now, Goths were picked here because they kill Hunt faster and they're the instant loom. So Mentalist wants to take as many boars as possible here. And Yo, so far, has done a good enough job to get some of the boars that are pretty far away. I'm really surprised. Like, where is Mentalist with his horse right now? I feel like that horse is really valuable to block, to try and stop people from bringing in these boars. So I'm a little surprised that he's over here, but he might have been looking for the boars. We saw a game yesterday where a player didn't get many boars at all, and they struggled. Looks like Yo's going to get enough, though. Like, Yo moved out for them nice and early. And so Yo's going to have, well, he's got 3 already. This one back here is getting lamed, though. That one's going to die. So well played there for Mentalist. So it might just be 3 for Yo, but 3 may also be enough. Just for him to get by, and then he can move on maybe to the back of his map. He might be looking for deer now, or the berries. He's definitely sending a villager this way. I think he's going to try and take this boar. I mean, so far, we have not seen Mentalist use that horse to try and block it all. He's just been scouting, which is, of course, what you tend to do on these maps. And, oh, no way. Oh, it didn't follow him. That happens a lot to me these days. It's like if you click back too fast after shooting a boar, the boar doesn't chase. So very fortunate there for Mentalist, because it looked like Yo was going to be able to get away with it. And so that should be only 3 boars for Yo. And the other one got lamed here, right? And then it should be 4 for Mentalist, unless this happens, right? Like, this is so incredibly bold. Yo is giving no respect to Mentalist. He doesn't even have loom. And it's just happening anyways. Like, it's so disappointing for Canada. I really think that the Goth player needs to be putting up a little bit more of a fight over these boars. But I think that's just Yo making it look easy. He's basing it on what he's been up against, and he hasn't really seen that horse around for Mentalist at all. Now, Mentalist has a villager around the back. Check this out. So, I remember seeing this in Warlords at one point. And players would build a sneak barracks in the back, and you kind of wait for the opponent to chop trees back here or take the berries. If Mentalist is going to have a really good idea on if he takes these berries or if he takes the deer. And Yo doesn't have a clue that that villager's back there. He's chosen to take this woodline instead. He did choose to chop this woodline, which I think is a really good move. Bit of a further distance to walk, of course. Now, let's not forget, the Goths get the additional food from the hunt, so they're benefiting more than the Byzantines are from the boars that they take. So even though the laming hasn't happened, it's still pretty good, healthy economy here for Mentalist. And he's going to aim to kill fast here. So, excited to see how things go. He continues to just build houses on the berries. Now, let's look at Yo's scouting. Okay, so Yo has seen the houses. He knows there's probably a villa around. We'll see if he changes his approach. I think, if anything, you might want to bring your horse over and see where that villager is and see if that villager's building something. But for now, he's just going to go for the second lumber camp. He's going to click up. And a really common meta on this map has been Spearman Skirmisher. So I think we could see that here for Yo. But I think he's also expecting Man-at-Arms in the back of his base. So he's going to send some villagers over to gold. This could be interesting. If Yo knows it's just going to be Man-at-Arms, he may not even mine gold long term. He might just get like 2 trips with these vills just so he can get like 2 to 3 archers. Because you don't need to go full archers necessarily to deal with the Man-at-Arms. It's like you deal with the Man-at-Arms, and then if you want to go Spear Skirm because it's cheap, you can. If I were Yo, I would build an outpost here. But I think Yo just caught vision on this vill, building another house, and he's going to see the militia. And he knew something was up already, and he's going to get the quick walls down. And Yo, with the perfect timing here on the walls. But it still could lead to a lot more for Mentalist, right? He could go for archers behind here. He could build a tower. This is some good pressure from the Canadian. Let's see. So, first thing he does is he builds a tower. Now, can Yo see that? Yeah, free Town Watch kicks in with Byzantines. So, Yo can actually see that. And he's just created enough space for himself so he can make his own tower. Mentalist now is going to cancel his tower. And now Yo is going to cancel his tower. And Mentalist is going to place one further back. So I'm loving the play so far for Mentalist because there's all this pressure on Yo. But Yo has done a sick job as well. Like, this is crazy. He actually opens the wall. And is now going to place another tower. And now Mentalist says, okay, I'm not building my tower again. I'm going to delete my tower and place it here. And now Yo says, I'm going to delete my tower and place it here. And you can't delete your tower again if you're Mentalist. You can't delete your tower again if you're Yo because you're not going to have the stone for the tower. But it's just perfect from Yo because he still has more vills building this and he's actually fine. That's crazy. That moment right there, by the way, is why a lot of players don't play with safe delete on. Because every time you delete the tower foundation, safe delete says, are you sure you want to delete this? And that pop-up can be really annoying and frustrating in those instances. That was pretty wild, what we just saw there. But it will continue to be wild because this is tons of pressure. I love how Mentalist has come in here game 2 and is just sending it. Precisely what you want to do here, but don't lose your villager, Mentalist. Oh, he loses his vill. That's huge. Not because the tower's denied, but because there's no threat of any buildings back here now. It kind of simplifies Yo's game plan. Yo knows that he just needs to focus about pushing forward. Now, guys, here is the difference between the two of them, right? Look at the idle TC time. Now, this might come back to one player going man-at-arms, but basically, it was intense moments with lots of aggression, and during that moment, it was really difficult for Mentalist to keep his eco working, and Yo defended from the attacks, didn't lose a single vill yet anyways, and Yo has just, like, 10 seconds of idle time at his TC. Yo has just done an amazing job here. If he can fully finish this off, if he can, finally push these man-at-arms back, he'll be towered on his wood line. He'll have double range production. This should be really good for him. Now, behind this, we have a mill on Hunt for Mentalist. That's pretty sick. We have another mill going up on Hunt. That's really good play from him. The archer range is being produced from the front. He's still got a nice little army here. And he hasn't killed vills, but he's affected the efficiency of Yo's economy, which sometimes is all you can ask for. Efficiency is a big aspect of the game, right? One villager lost for Mentalist, but the rest of his eco is still looking pretty good. He's got some farms going up. He hasn't gotten pop capped at all because all those forward houses. But at this stage, you do worry a little bit for the Goths because the Byzantines seem to be stronger and stronger the longer the game goes. Mentalist has not killed a single unit here from Yo. Yo has just played too good. And man, it's just amazing. He gets enough skirms out where he knows he can defend. And now he's just going to counterattack with the archers. And Mentalist has no army over here. Yo is just amazing. He's made all of this look so easy. And he truly has played this game from the start as someone who does not think his opponent could kill him at all, right? He's played with crazy confidence. With the boars earlier, and also with the defense. Yep, Yo still hasn't lost a unit. It's 6-0 KD. The archers are chasing. There is going to be some skirms back home for Mentalist. So Mentalist might end up being fine. But 7-0 KD, 8-0 KD right now for Yo. And he'll finally lose a unit, but it has just been perfection from Yo for China. And unfortunately for Canada, it's not gonna look much better. I mean, the only positive you could really get from this is that Yo won't be able to play in the 2v2 later on if it gets there. But being up 2-0 in a best of 5 is pretty big. T90, why did Red not kill the blue deer behind that wood line? You mean with the Vil? I mean, I think killing the deer isn't priority there. Like, Yo didn't necessarily need the deer at all. He is obviously going to take it now. It helps a little bit, but ultimately at this stage, it's about farming. You have one Vil. The tower felt like the right play. If anything, building an archer range could have been nice, but he already built one elsewhere. I think the way that Mentalist played this was correct. If anything, he just needed to follow up with the archer range. But it's hard to do everything at the same time. And, oh, these villagers are kind of trapped. But Yo doesn't know there's going to be scouts with forging coming from Mentalist. Mentalist is going to kill off most of these skirmishers here. Yo is not expecting this stable switch. And he probably doesn't realize that forging's in. And he's going to know when his units start to die off pretty quickly here. Nice job from Mentalist. And Yo's just going to make archers behind this to try and come in and take engagements, but there's skirms from Mentalist protecting. But if Yo is able to take care of these skirms, the archers can help out against the scouts, and there's also a spear there. This is enough for Yo. More than enough for Yo to actually hold this fight. It looked a little worrisome there, but it was only 2 scouts. Like, Mentalist didn't make more than that, and he didn't have much support, and now Yo's got an army that can't be stopped. There's spearmen in the mix as well. There's 18 army for Mr. Yo. There's 1 for Mentalist right now. And so a tower is absolutely needed. Mentalist going to scramble down that tower now. Nice damage control not to lose more Vils here. And he will complete the tower, but so frequently we say it when you see a player like Yo, it's like, it's all about the next step. So he's done great amounts of damage here. And he's going to be in a good position to go to Castle Age here in a second. We could eventually see Cataphracts. He's on stone. I think 3 on stone is just so he can make a couple more towers if need be. Like, here's a tower on the farms. But Yo has honestly played this perfect, man. He basically played this perfect. And so it'll go to a 3v3 after this on Big Freeze. And maybe Canada will be kind of like Brazil yesterday, where they start to turn it around after the 4v4 and the 1v1. Because, like, if you struggle on Nomad as a team, or let's just say you get unlucky, you're down a game, and then game 2 is 1v1s right away. So if you're the country that doesn't have, like, a beastly top 5 player to play the 1v1s, you could be down 2-0 quite easily. But there's still a lot of games left to play at that point. And they're very different settings, so. Yo getting some quick walls down. Might lose a villager or 2. Remember, the scouts have forging. The tower can't range any of this either. Mentalist ends up backing away. That's a bit weird he backed away there. Yep, there he's going to get a villager kill. Mentalist is on the way to Castle Age. He's pretty heavy on stone. He's not going to have enough stone to build a castle. But eventually, that'll be the goal. And Yo is going to be in Castle Age. He's dropping stables. He's going to go for knights. And Yo's collected 1,000 more resources. Yo has more army. Just killed a villager here on the farms. And I think we're probably only a few short seconds away from a GG call. It's not getting any better for Mentalist right now. Maybe he doesn't know Knights are going to be on the way. But, I mean, when Knights show up with the ranged army, it's going to be almost impossible for him to stop it. Probably would need some, like, desperate TCs dropped. And you hope that your town centers can protect you. Gabby's in chat. Gabby rooting for Canada. What would Brazil say, Gabby? Now, I know Gabby's really close friends with Mentalist, so they played together in other team game tournaments. Mentalist is an amazing player. And he's an amazing guy. I remember casting with him a little bit back in, like, 2016. I haven't played too many games with him recently, but he's really solid. And here comes the attack. Again, it's like you can't stop the range units necessarily. You can't stop the Knights. Panic TC here from Mentalist. He kind of crammed it up against the edge of the map so it wouldn't be spotted. He's definitely going to lose Vils here. He might not complete this TC. This is going to be a doubt TC. And Mentalist calls the GG. And China up 2-0 already. I mean, this series has been live for like 40 minutes. And there's been some delays at the start, delays in between. And it has just been all China so far. Holy crap. Just in the event that China does win this series, it is double elim from here. So it's not the end of the world for Canada. They always have a chance to recover. But I'm still kind of waiting to see the Canada that I know can play, right? It wasn't in game one. I wasn't expecting them to perform super well in the 1v1s this tournament. So hopefully next in the 3v3s, we'll see a little bit more from them. So far, China look unstoppable here today. And, like, maybe you have a chance making it messy with Goths, but Mentalist didn't do that. Like, he didn't have lots of Vils running around. He didn't use the horse to try and block. And then maybe you have a chance if Yo is, like, out of shape, but Yo's never out of shape. Or maybe Yo didn't wake up yet, but he got the perfect warm-up game in game number 1. So it was just genuinely peak Yo right there. And it was and a lot of confidence too. Like, he did things that I don't think he would have done against a player he felt like was in the top 5 or top 10, particularly with the Boars in the Dark Age. He was just like, I don't think you're going to stop me. Made it look easy. All right, so game 3. Again, remember, yesterday it was Brazil was not looking good. They were down 2-0. They turned it around in game 3. They eventually took it to game 5. That was an amazing series. If you did not watch that, by the way, put it on your list or wait for the YouTube video because game 5 is going to be its own video. That might be one of the best games in this whole tournament. We got China, who's just dominated today. It hasn't looked good for Canada. That's... I'm trying to be as positive as I can about the situation. It just hasn't been good at all. And hopefully it will get better. And here we have the flank for China. I believe this is Vivi? If someone could confirm, that would be great. I will change it here in Capture Age. It's either Vivi or Bad Koala. I could actually see this being Bad Koala. The map is Big Freeze. But Poles on the flank makes me think we're going to see a tower rush. Maybe we see Poles tower rush Mentalist over here. Pocket is Yo. Yo is playing as the Slavs. And then the other flank for China is Lix, who's playing as the Teutons. I think we might see a double tower rush. Because in some of our training games for Team USA, we felt like Teuton Trush in the 2v2 was insane on this map. You're really close together, and you could break into the opponent's walls pretty quickly. Apparently, player 5 is Vivi. I figured it would be Vivi because Vivi's just better than Bad Koala, but I think in one of the other games, Bad Koala was this color. So yeah, I'll change that in Capture Age. But here's to hoping Canada can turn it around. Oh, Mentalist couldn't quite hold the gate open there. For Canada, we have Bohemian flank for Mentalist. We've got Pocket playing as the Burgundians. Wow, what a great Pocket civilization here for Chris. And then we've got Slam playing as the flank with Malay. The Boars are always outside the walls on this map, which can be really awkward at times. They start with 4 farms. You have more than enough sheep. I don't think we'll see players take shorefish. I don't think that's going to be a factor, but technically you could do so. Yeah, Goku had a crazy game for Brazil yesterday. What a performance. I was really impressed there. So what is this? Vivi, right? There we go. I'm kind of tempted to move part of Yo's name, remove part of Yo's name as well, because at least to me it doesn't mean anything. But like in Vivi's case, I'd need to add his name there so people can look at it and know who it is. In Yo's case, it does have Yo at the end. I don't know. Yo's not going to complain about it. I think that's just the best way to do it. It'll still be on screen in other ways. And I need to re-add the flag here as well. And then we should be nice and good. Okay. There we go. We're good. Oh, it means do you? Okay. Got it. I didn't know if it was something related to his clan or something. So we're going to keep Chris as smooth Chris, though. He played pretty smooth in game number 1, but the rest of his team is dead. So that was kind of the issue there. And, oh, what the... Where's this coming from? What's happening? That is someone's boar. And Chris is trying to steal it. I assume he's stealing it from Vivi, but he was kind of running from the middle of the map. And now, Chris is to be careful. Chris has gone a little too deep into the walls. And Chris is going to run away, and he doesn't end up getting the boar after all. Where did that boar come from, though? There's no way he stole that from Yo, right? I don't think he stole that from Yo. I want to go back and look at Chris's Fog of War on that. Yeah, that would have been probably over here from Vivi. So nice job from Vivi, nice job from Yo. Are we going to see a tower rush? Or Teutons included maybe for their monks? Oh, no, we already have a villager on stone. Okay. So it is going to be YOLO Tower Rush, not from Yo, but from Lix. Teutons can fit more villagers inside their towers, right? So you could go 10 villager Tower Rush. Going 10 villager Tower Rush when you only have 17 villagers, though, really tanks your economy. So I think we might just see like 6 or something. Just get that one extra arrow, still better than what the others can do. Slam is going to click up. And Slam's melee, so he's going to be up super fast. I actually think that this is the best thing that Slam could do. So what I think this is this is the fast feudal into eco upgrades approach that you see on closed maps. But it allows you to build defensive towers if need be, right? So it's like an adaptable situation for you. Whereas if you try and go fast castle and you get tower rush, you're stuck. Now if you get tower rush, you can at least defend it in some way. But I don't actually think that Slam is planning around archers or anything right now. This is just straight up boom and adapt, and he's clearly sensing something could happen, and he's going to see the vills. Yeah, so now it would make sense. Slam could probably say, okay, now I send a couple vills to stone. Ooh, is Slam going to rush this down? Is he going to vill rush this? Is he going to rush this down? Slam is going to vill rush this. Okay, he's getting loom. He's not going to have it immediately if he engages. Here he goes. Lix is not expecting this. And Slam says, get off my lawn. Slam gets loom at the perfect time. And Slam just brings more vills than Vivi brought. And he's just going to fight this off. This is actually really well played from Slam. He doesn't want to allow this tower rush to get going at all. And one villager down already here for Lix. And this completely neutralizes the tower rush. And I think Slam is really good with vill fighting as well, right? All his Black Forest experience happens a lot there. And Lix is a worse economy just because of being the Teutons. And he can't go for his game plan right now. Meanwhile, we got double tower here from Vivi on Mentalist. Mentalist is going fast castle, or at least attempting to. And he wants to drop a castle, but he may need to build some defensive towers. And here comes Lix again. And Slam doesn't know about that, which is kind of funny. And now Slam's going to try and rush this down again. Why do I feel like this is no longer going to look good for Slam? Let's see. There's a lot of villagers walking around right now. We do actually have scouts being made by Yo. So this could get worse for Slam's Vill Rush. But that'll take a little bit of time. Here we have a defensive tower from Mentalist. Here we have Vivi breaking in. Here we have Slam still trying to hit this tower. But Slam, you need to get out of here, dude. Oh, he's through. He did lose the Vill, though. And he could lose more. But he's underneath the tower now, which is what he wanted. But I'm still concerned because there's so much tower fire hitting Slam's Vills. And now Yo is here with scouts. Felt like initially it was such a good decision to run out with Vills. But I don't think they factored in that Yo could be coming with scouts here at all. And so as that tower goes down, there's going to be a new tower here from Lix, and he's just going to continue. Over here, it looks like maybe a villager went down for Mentalist. He still hasn't clicked up the Castle Age. So this has disrupted his fast castle, which is exactly what they wanted to accomplish here. And Mentalist can't take gold because of these towers either. And now, pretty soon, Yo's going to be in. And Slam's got to build houses galore here. And Canada, they're really waiting for Chris right now. Chris is on the way to Castle Age. He could add scouts now. He could go for light cap. I think as long as Chris is a smooth game from here, he can kind of prop them up. It's like, Yo's not on the way to Castle Age, right? Yo is taking some of the shorefish too, though. That's kind of a nice addition to his eco. Nice job from Vivi just to maintain some control here as he's going to drop more and more towers in Mentalist base. Being forced to build counter towers if you're Mentalist sucks. He's just missing the stone. He got 120 stone here. He needs to get 5 more. He couldn't tower there. And if you counter tower, if you're Slam, you can only fit 5 villagers in your tower, right? So it's still not an easy job. There's going to be a tower here, and there's going to be a tower here. What is happening, man? Oh, God. The scouts from Yo. The scouts from Yo are coming into Mentalist base. He wasn't factoring this in. This is so smart from China because Mentalist is open. Slam is continually re-walled. And now Mentalist, he has to delete those farms. He's got to wall everything back here as well. And this is just not fun for Mentalist or for Slam right now. Still waiting for Chris to show up. I'm sure he's going to get here. But it's not going to be light cap. I guess he's going to plan on knights. And yeah, this is just tough for the flanks of Canada right now. Again, it's just constant pressure. It doesn't seem like Yo is bothered at all by how this is going. If you see Yo with good army control through scouts, you know that he's going to be in a good spot. I mean, poor Mentalist right now. And China's so good at this. Like, the little repair game and being annoying. Here we have more villagers coming in to shoot this tower down. Here, Slam wants to rush this tower down, but Yo Walden, his Vil, is repairing and is just going to build a new tower. Like, it's just so messy. But we are going to have knights coming from Chris. Like, knights can kill villagers from both these flanks. So you have to be really careful if you're Vivi and really careful if you're Lix, not to lose your Vils now. And this tower is going to be shot down. This tower could be battered down. There's potential here. Oh! Sick. On a scale of 1 to 10, how annoyed would you be playing this game if you were Slam and Mentalist right now? I'd be at a 15. It's just obnoxious, dude. It's just obnoxious. And Slam probably keeps thinking, okay, we got knights here, we're fine. Or there's this, that, and the other, we're fine. He's still taking losses. Vivi's still holding this position. Still desperately trying to keep Mentalist off of gold. But Chris is 7 knights on the field. Chris is dropping the second TC. And Chris is so close to killing Lix's villagers over here. Lix is like 8 villagers on screen. 5 are inside the tower. They've just done a really nice job because a lot of people would have lost their Vils to these knights already. And they wouldn't have had time for Yo to come in with these scouts and get these upgrades and swoop into Slam's base. And now this tower still stays up. And now it is just, again, a no good, very bad day here for Canada. Just constant. I guess here, this is pretty good because Mentalist is going to maybe push this tower back. But still, his eco has not been as good as the Polish eco behind it. Vivi's been able to build all these farms around the fullworks. And just heard another villager go down here for Slam. He was ahead in villagers, and now it's tied with what... oh, nice market there. It's tied with what Lix has. Knights come in now from Yo. He just wants to offer enough support so these towers can stay up. And it seems to be working. More aggression here from China, looking to break further into Slam space. Poor Slam isn't going to have any farms pretty soon. I think the one thing that would be super nice here for Yo is if you had a forward monastery. Like, if you have monks here to heal up your knights, or to just convert any of the cav, there's no way Slam ever gets this position back. Somehow there's still 3 villagers inside that tower, and everything's still fine. And Vivi's still just hanging on here. It's crazy. And Yo is a really good civ to boom long-term here. He's got lots of numbers. He's got solid enough upgrades. He's beating back the Cavalier even. He's going to heal up the weak knights. There's the 2 stables he's producing from. And this is looking bad for Canada. Because Vivi is going to be in Castle Age in 50 seconds. He may actually be tempted to go for a forward castle, honestly. Because he's just now going to lose his towers. Mentalist is in full panic mode. He's got 13 villagers in queue. He really needs to cancel some of those. Use the marketing click up. Mentalist will take down this tower. Watch this, though. Watch this. So, Mentalist doesn't realize that that is Vivi's wall. And Vivi just deletes the wall. And now there's a knight right into Mentalist base. What a nightmare, dude. What a nightmare. Look at these towers. Slam is fully surrounded by towers. What a strat. Again, great job from Yo to always pull the knights back. To get those knights back home to heal up. And, like, I guess Lix hasn't made it to Castle Age yet. So, he's an outlier for China. But Vivi's in a fine position. Vivi can boom. Vivi looks like he's going to go monks now. Chris is probably just being told that he needs to come to both sides all the time. And he never seems to have enough to be able to help. There's always just enough from Yo to match whatever Chris is sending forward. And just, again, as we say it, there's more knights here and more desperate repairs here from Lix. And Yo has enough knights to push the Cavalier away. Like, you would think the Cavalier would win in these situations, but I think the Tower Fire, combined with just the numbers from Yo, and maybe one more upgrade, is making all the difference here. And imagine if the monks were actually standing right next to this bush. Vivi's still holding this tower, and Vivi's now going to have monks in siege on the front. So I think Chris doesn't know about the monks. He just saw the siege, so he goes to go kill the siege. And now he sees the monk, and fortunately for him, he actually kills it. But feels like it could just get so much worse here. As now Slam's tower is going to get pushed back. And yeah, this is just all China here, guys. Thankfully, you know, for Canada fans, this is double elim. They will fall into... they'll play the loser of... Well, I forget which series. I think they play the loser of Brazil-Russia that happened yesterday. We'll have to double check that. Maybe I'm calling it too soon, but this is just... It's just not looking great for Canada. Particularly Slam. Like, Slam is almost dead, it feels like. Look how many towers he has surrounding him right now. Well, he is going to be in Castle Age, but he's not going to be able to take stone. He's not going to be able to take gold. And Chris has had a really nice game, but Yo has matched that, and Yo has more army than him. So, Yo is in a 6th spot right now. I love how Vivi decided to go into Monk Siege here. It's really smart, because if he would have tried a castle drop, it would have been risky. If he would have just boomed, maybe they don't apply pressure to Mentalist. But this feels like the perfect type of follow-up. Having the monks in there means that Chris can't really help at all. The Slam is eventually just going to chop his way to this corner. He's going to chop his way through the mountains. Like, Slam is just running out of more and more space, dude. This is before these towers get upgraded to guard tower. He's surrounded by 9 towers. Oh, poor Slam. He did a really good job this game. The initial rush back of the towers was probably one of the best things he could do, but he wasn't expecting the scouts from Yo. The scouts from Yo is what gave Lix the opportunity. And oh god, Vivi. Give it a rest. Vivi gets a big shot there. And it's going to continue to push down these towers now. Guys, this tower has been standing for so long. Like, it's not like Mentalist has been able to freely mine gold with Bohemians. They're finally going to get rid of that. But now the front of his base is going to be lost. Okay. You could tell Slam considered rushing down the towers there with his Vills. We got Licks building staples in Slam's base right now. Oh, boy. He can also mine Slam stone. I don't really think you need the Knights, but why not? He's going to drop a castle soon. Just when you think things can't get worse for Slam, guess what? They can. It's so funny, too, because he doesn't really have the craziest eco setup for long-term Knights, but it just licks energy, man. Bodkin Arrow makes sense, and then 2 Knights might be enough to get in there. And here comes Yo. I think Licks just said, I want to drop a castle, and Yo said, here, let me help. I think this castle is about to be placed here any moment. Vivi doesn't need any help. Vivi's doing enough on his own. Vivi's 3 TC booming as well. He's playing so good here today. And, uh-oh, villagers have to hop inside the tower. Yo tries to dive. Nice quick walls there from Slam. But now Murder Holes is in, right? Teutons get free Murder Holes, so you can't stay underneath the towers. And now Guard Towers coming in as well. I would like to see Ballistics, too. With this many towers, it's totally worth it, in my opinion. And so you're surrounded by 9 Teuton towers. We'll see if he does get Ballistics or if he wants to just drop TCs or something. But I guess the player you lean on here, the player you hope can save the day is Chris. He's going to be up against Yo, and Yo is on the way to the Imperial Age now. Chris definitely has that potential. Like, the cheap Paladin upgrade could make a difference when he makes it to Imp. If he clicks up to Imp, he's making a lot of army now. And now the Knights from Licks' stables have made it in, and China's going to call the Canada's going to call the GG. And China just demolished Canada here today. Maybe not the series that was advertised, because when these teams have played in the past, it has been very close, but it was not so close today. The 4v4 was a stomp. The 1v1 was, quite honestly, a bit of a stomp. And then this game, pretty close to a stomp. I liked how Canada played overall. I'm really surprised that it was double tower rush from China. I wouldn't have actually expected that. I thought they would maybe do that with one player. But it was just the consistency with the stubbornness, keeping the Vills alive from Licks and Vivi. And then the follow-up from Yo, it just set him up perfectly. Just think of the difference, right? Like, China took the initiative super early, and they never lost it. So it was constantly asking questions to the opponent and setting up Yo to dive in. And then Chris on the other side had to react to that. So it felt like he was just always a little too late because he didn't know how much pressure was going to come next. So, not a great start for Canada in the main event. But again, chances to recover. I'll pull up the bracket here, show you exactly where things line up there. Yo had a beastly performance today. To be expected, of course, but sometimes players don't necessarily have their best day. Yo definitely did today. It felt like every single game he delivered.